Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. In today's video, we'll be doing a long-term review of the Contrail FL410P that I've been using about 6 months or so. All right, so I got the numbers right in front of me over here. This bag is 16 inches long by 9 inches wide and 12 inches high. I'll be showing you pictures that I took from the flight deck. The cubby that I have available for me is 9.5 inches wide by 25 inches long. So this bag fits in there obviously just fine. Not too bad. I had to acquire this bag because my previous bag, which was the Briggs & Riley duffel, was just a tad bit too wide. This one is only 9, and that one I think it was pushing almost 12. So from a packing standpoint, that one can carry a lot more. However, it was not going to work aboard the Boeing 737 aircraft. This one, because it is narrower and taller, it does take advantage of the fact that it can be this tall or even taller, and that way it can manage itself in that space a little bit better. So my seat, as I'm sliding forward and backward, I'm not dragging my flight kit, which is what this, it's occupying the space of our flight kits. Our bag, typically, I'm not dragging it forward and back as I'm moving my seat, okay? So I've been using this bag for a while now, and typically these types of bags, utilized by crew members, they're built like tanks. So to really test them long term, it'll have to be 5 years. However, I did want to provide my viewers and everybody else who's tuning in for the first time, welcome aboard, an impression of, how is it holding up after several months of heavy use, right? The biggest wear item are the tabs here at the bottom. As you can see, they get pretty worn out. However, all of these tabs are exchangeable. You just press these little tabs on the edges and remove them. And obviously I don't want to break it, so I'm not going to do it until I have to. But, they pop out. It also has side tabs. And these side tabs do not get worn out much, but they do get worn out a little bit. So they protect the bag on the sides as well. Overall, the bottom and side protection of this bag is some of the best I've ever seen. They really went out of the way, because with these replaceable items, they're mitigating probably what is the number one problem and reason why people have to change the bags, which is just wearing out the bottom. But with, in this case here, we got 6 replaceable tabs on the bottom. It's probably going to last a long time. Zippers remain intact. The only thing I had an issue with was this zipper over here was coming out in the back. So I just put it back in and squeezed that top tab, and it's now locked in place. I did purchase the special attachment here in the back so I can attach my bag to the Luggage Works Carbon 2.0 that I'm also testing for the channel. Now, I can only use this feature when I'm not taking my food with me on the road, which would be with very short trips, 2 days or just long turns that I'm a real big fan of, out to the Caribbean and back. I can then just use this bag, not take my cooler bag with me. Look for that review coming up on the channel as well. And it attaches to the bag like so. So then I was very curious to see if the stitching was going to be holding, and the stitching is holding a-okay thus far. Absolutely no sign of wear. So that's good. And like I said, It will be a multi-year type of thing. I will be updating you as I use the bag. The handle itself is leather, so anticipate that to last a very long time. No cuts on the outside, and for all intents and purposes, the bag is still brand new. All right. So the volumetric capacity of what you can pack inside of this is less than the cabin duffel of the Briggs & Riley, which I was using before, almost 10 years. I had just to buy one other one, and what wore out on that was the bottom, and it wore out to the point where it just kind of cut through the whole material. So that one built like a tank, solid bag, and then relative to this one can pack a little bit less. Now, from the standpoint of the daily use, right? So you may be very interested in this regard as well. These pouches here are vertical, and when the bag is fully loaded, everything tends to be very compressed. So it becomes a little hard to access these pouches because you don't have space to open it up wide in the flight deck, right? It's not going to go all the way down. It's going to stay vertical even with the zippers all the way down because you got your seat right here. So just be aware of that. You know, it does get a little bit cramped because there's not much room. And then this outermost pouch over here, you'll know exactly what you have in there, which you will have to know because you're basically going in the blind. You're not going to be able to see what's in there. There's no room for that. So you're just going to have to know. Again, so just those little user tips after using this bag for a while. This is pretty big. It's a big deal because your documents and everything, they're very cramped. Just something to keep in mind. This pouch over here, I typically use as a kind of things that not small things. I don't like things lost at the bottom of my bag. So here I keep the sun visors and wipes or things that I don't use often at all, but I know they're there, right? And then so particularly I like to keep this little face covering backup number 3 or 4, what have you, in there. Not intend to use it, but it's just in there in case I need something and I don't have it. Boom, there it is. Now, as far as tip, I purchased this pouch, which I'll list in the channel there for you, in the description somewhere. I'll have exactly which one this is. This is just screen cleaners and wipes and gloves and what have you for cleaning up something big messy. But it never gets used, just backup of a backup. This pouch here, I keep my AirPod Maxes, right? So I keep them in like so. All right, the reason I do that is because it definitely protects it from damage and it keeps it nicely organized. You could put your aviation headset in here, should you choose. And it will work with the David Clarks. It will not work with the Bose. You know, I do test headsets on the channel and I dive deep into details. So make sure to check out those reviews. But I do that. So over here, I keep this and then I tend to I'll transport my headset in its own bag with all the backup accessories and bags into its little pouches. But you don't have to. So if you don't want to travel with a noise canceling passenger style headset, you'll save a lot of room. I just happen to use this quite a bit, and to me, it serves its purpose. It's a huge commitment because it occupies a significant amount of space. Now, you do have this Velcro line here that attaches, so it keeps it in place. There we go. You can see that. So it keeps it in place and it keeps it organized, right? It also fits, it'll fit a lot of electronic devices. It'll fit a large laptop if you'd like to carry that, a work iPad, personal iPad, reader, headset, and there's still quite a bit of room vertically. Everything stays about to the black line. So I got this much room left to fill, which I don't. But when I close, I keep my water bottle on top, like so. So it pushes it down a bit, okay? All in all, it is obviously plenty of space and it will get the job done. Depending on how many electronic devices you're transporting and how much you'd like to carry on this bag, and if you're carrying other bags, okay? Just a little side note, when I'm doing a day trip, so I'll be doing a Caribbean turn, a good old 8 hours of flight time in one day, or going out to the Pacific coast and back, I will actually remove the headset, and I'll put a cooler in here. So I will not take my full-on cooler that I can pack several days worth of food, especially important during nowadays where you don't know if things are going to be open. However, it is from a health standpoint fantastic. So on a short trip, I'll take this out, put my cooler, a smaller cooler in there, and I'll pack that way, okay? And then in the back over here, I will keep this extra pouch, which you could actually have more than one, but the pouch itself does take a little bit of space. So over here, I like to keep things like my sunglass cleaners, perhaps a hand sanitizer or hand lotion, small items that I don't want to be messy. I don't want them loose in the bag. So I'll just stuff them in here, flashlight, and that will keep it organized. And then the rest back here, I'll keep battery, glasses, and my thermos, which is most certainly essential equipment. Definitely essential equipment. Okay, folks, so that's how I've been packing this bag, and my experience with this bag thus far has been incredibly positive. It's definitely delivered, and as far as any huge negative about this bag, the only thing I can think of is it does get, like I said in the beginning, pretty cramped to access your documents once it is fully loaded, because it'll puff up a bit and it'll squeeze the documents. Now, that is a design feature of it that allows for it not to be as wide, right? So if you have a lot of space in your office, in the flight deck, you might want to get something that is wider. I don't know. It's up to you. But that is the first long-term review of this. Do look for long-term reviews of all the bags I've been testing. Coming up shortly for sure will be the Luggage Works Carbon 2.0 that I've been testing, and how that experience has been with that bag. All in all, I hope you've enjoyed this review. And that is all, folks. As always, until next time, fly safe.